In the heart of the ancient kingdom of Eldoria, where centuries-old traditions meet modern expectations, a secret has been carefully guarded behind the towering walls of Rosewood Palace. For months, whispers have echoed through the marble corridors, servants have exchanged knowing glances, and the royal physician has made unusually frequent visits under the cover of darkness. Today, that secret is about to transform not just a family, but an entire nation's future. Crown Prince Alexander and Princess Isabella of Eldoria have built their love story in the public eye. From their fairy tale wedding that captivated millions worldwide to their dedication to charitable causes that have earned them the nickname, the People's Royals. Their 3 children, Prince James, Princess Sophie, and little Prince Michael, have already captured hearts across the kingdom with their charming public appearances and genuine warmth. But what the royal couple is about to reveal will surpass every previous moment of joy, every celebration, and every milestone that has defined their extraordinary journey together. This announcement will not only complete their family in the most unexpected way, but will also introduce a new chapter in Eldoria's royal history that no one saw coming. The anticipation is building, the world is watching, and in just moments, everything will change forever. The morning sun cast long shadows across the manicured gardens of Rosewood Palace as Princess Isabella stood at her bedroom window, one hand resting gently on her silk robe. The familiar weight of royal duty pressed upon her shoulders. But today carried something different, something that made her heart race with both excitement and nervous anticipation. After months of careful planning and preparation, the moment had finally arrived to share their incredible news with the world. Crown Prince Alexander entered the room quietly, his footsteps muffled by the thick Persian carpet that had witnessed generations of royal secrets. His usually composed demeanor showed subtle signs of the anticipation that had been building for weeks. The couple had been through so much together, from their early courtship under intense media scrutiny to navigating the challenges of raising 3 children in the public eye. But nothing had prepared them for this extraordinary moment. Isabella turned from the window, her emerald eyes sparkling with the same warmth that had first captured Alexander's heart 12 years ago at a charity gala. The soft morning light illuminated her face, revealing the gentle glow that close friends and family members had noticed in recent months, but had attributed to her happiness and contentment with their growing family. Little did they know that there was so much more to the story. The palace had been a hub of quiet activity for weeks, with trusted staff members sworn to secrecy as they prepared for what would become one of the most significant announcements in recent royal history. Mrs. Eleanor Harrington, the head housekeeper who had served the royal family for over 30 years, had noticed the subtle changes in routine, the private meetings with doctors, and the careful coordination of schedules that suggested something momentous was approaching. Alexander moved to stand beside his wife, wrapping his arms around her in the protective embrace that had become second nature over their years together. They had weathered storms of criticism, celebrated triumphs, and built a partnership that exemplified modern royal marriage while honoring centuries of tradition. Their love story had inspired countless couples around the world, showing that even in the fishbowl existence of royalty, genuine connection and mutual respect could flourish. The couple's 3 children had been the center of their universe since the birth of Prince James 8 years ago. The young prince had inherited his father's thoughtful nature and his mother's infectious smile, quickly becoming a favorite among the public during carefully orchestrated appearances. Princess Sophie, now 6, possessed an independent spirit and natural charisma that reminded everyone of her grandmother, the late Queen Victoria, whose legacy of service and dignity continued to guide the royal family. Little Prince Michael, at just 4 years old, brought unbridled joy and mischief to every family gathering. His spontaneous hugs during public events and his tendency to wave enthusiastically at crowds had earned him the nickname, the People's Prince, from royal correspondents who covered the family's activities. The children had adapted remarkably well to their unique position, understanding from an early age that their lives would always be different, but never losing the natural warmth and curiosity that made them so beloved. The decision to expand their family had not been made lightly. Isabella and Alexander had spent countless hours discussing the implications, the responsibilities, and the joy that another child would bring to their lives. They had consulted with advisors, spoken with family members, and ultimately followed their hearts in deciding that their family was not yet complete. The months that followed had been filled with careful planning, medical consultations, and the delicate task of keeping their secret while managing their public responsibilities. Dr. Margaret Sullivan, the royal physician, had been instrumental in guiding them through the process. Her expertise and discretion had been invaluable as they navigated the unique challenges that came with royal pregnancies and the intense media attention that accompanied every aspect of their lives. The doctor's weekly visits to the palace had become routine, but she had been careful to vary her schedule and use different entrances to avoid arousing suspicion among the ever-watchful royal correspondents. The palace staff had played crucial roles in maintaining the secrecy that had allowed the royal couple to reach this moment without premature speculation or unwanted attention. From the kitchen staff, who had quietly adjusted meal preparations to accommodate changing dietary needs, to the security team who had discreetly enhanced certain protocols, everyone had contributed to creating the protective environment necessary for such a significant period in the royal family's life. Isabella's lady-in-waiting, Lady Catherine Pemberton, had been particularly instrumental in managing the countless details that required attention. Her loyalty and expertise in royal protocol had been essential in coordinating schedules, managing correspondence, and ensuring that the princess could fulfill her public duties while prioritizing her health and well-being. Lady Catherine had served the royal family for 15 years and understood better than most the delicate balance required to maintain privacy while meeting public expectations. The transformation of Isabella's daily routine had been gradual but noticeable to those closest to the family. Her morning rides through the palace grounds had been replaced with gentle walks in the private garden, and her evening schedule had been adjusted to allow for more rest. These changes had been implemented so subtly that even the most observant members of the household staff had not immediately recognized their significance. Alexander's role as a supportive partner had evolved during this time, as he took on additional responsibilities to allow Isabella the rest and care she needed. His public appearances had increased, and he had been more present at state functions and charitable events, drawing attention away from any reduction in Isabella's schedule. His natural charm and genuine commitment to their causes had made these adjustments seamless, and the public had praised his dedication without questioning the underlying reasons. The couple's relationship had deepened during this period of shared anticipation and careful planning. Their evening conversations in the privacy of their quarters had been filled with hopes, dreams, and practical considerations about how this new addition would fit into their already complex lives. They had discussed everything from nursery preparations to the adjustment period their other children would need, always keeping their family's well-being at the center of their planning. The preparation of their older children had been perhaps the most delicate aspect of the entire process. James, Sophie, and Michael had been gradually prepared for the possibility of a new sibling without being given specific details that they might inadvertently share during public appearances. The couple had carefully observed their children's reactions and had been pleased to see genuine excitement and curiosity about the prospect of welcoming a new member to their family. As the morning progressed, Isabella and Alexander reviewed their plans for the day's announcement one final time. Every detail had been carefully considered, from the timing of the release to the choice of location for their first public appearance afterward. They wanted to ensure that their news was shared in a way that honored both their personal joy and their public responsibilities, setting the tone for how this new chapter in their lives would unfold. The anticipation in the air was palpable as they prepared to step into the next phase of their journey together. This moment represented not just a personal milestone, but a significant event in the life of their kingdom, one that would be remembered and celebrated for generations to come. The love, preparation, and careful consideration that had brought them to this point reflected the values and commitment that had defined their partnership from the very beginning. Standing together in the quiet sanctuary of their private quarters, surrounded by the portraits and mementos that told the story of their life together, Isabella and Alexander shared a moment of perfect understanding. They had built something beautiful together, a family rooted in love, service, and mutual respect, and they were about to add another precious chapter to that ongoing story. The world was waiting, and they were finally ready to share their incredible news with everyone who had supported them on their remarkable journey. The grand ballroom of Rosewood Palace had been transformed into an elegant setting for what the Royal Communications Office had simply described as a special announcement from their Royal Highnesses. Crystal chandeliers cast warm light across the assembled crowd of journalists, royal correspondents, and distinguished guests, all wondering what news could possibly warrant such a formal gathering on what had begun as an ordinary Tuesday morning in the kingdom of Eldoria. Isabella appeared at the top of the marble staircase wearing a flowing emerald gown that complemented her eyes and seemed to catch the light with every graceful movement. Alexander stood beside her in his formal navy uniform, metals gleaming against the dark fabric, his posture reflecting both the gravity of the moment and the joy that seemed to radiate from both of them. The couple descended the stairs together, their hands intertwined, presenting the picture of unity and happiness that had characterized their marriage from the very beginning. The crowd fell silent as they approached the ornate podium that had been positioned to face the assembled guests. This was the same podium from which generations of royals had shared news of births, marriages, and significant state matters, lending additional weight and tradition to whatever announcement was about to unfold. The anticipation in the room was almost tangible, with photographers adjusting their equipment and correspondents preparing to capture every word. Alexander began to speak, his voice carrying the confidence and warmth that had made him such an effective ambassador for his country. He thanked everyone for gathering on such short notice and acknowledged the speculation that had been building in recent weeks about the purpose of this announcement. His natural charisma filled the room as he spoke about the importance of family, both in their personal lives and in their roles as representatives of the Eldorian people. Isabella stepped forward to join her husband at the podium, her presence immediately commanding attention and respect. The assembled crowd could see the unmistakable glow of happiness that surrounded her, though the true source of that radiance remained a mystery. She spoke about their gratitude for the continued support of their subjects and their excitement about sharing news that would bring joy not only to their family but to everyone who had followed their journey over the years. The royal children, who had been waiting in a side chamber with their governess, were then invited to join their parents on the stage. Prince James walked with the measured steps of a young man already aware of his destiny, while Princess Sophie practically skipped with excitement, her natural exuberance impossible to contain. Little Prince Michael required gentle guidance from his older siblings, but wore the biggest smile of all, clearly understanding that something wonderful was happening even if he did not fully grasp the magnitude of the moment. With their family gathered together, Alexander and Isabella shared a meaningful look before Isabella placed her hand gently on her still flat stomach, a gesture so subtle that only those in the front rows immediately understood its significance. Alexander then spoke the words that would make headlines around the world. Isabella and I are overjoyed to announce that our family will be welcoming a new member this coming spring. The immediate reaction was a collective gasp followed by spontaneous applause that seemed to echo endlessly through the ballroom. Photographers captured the moment from every angle, while correspondents immediately began typing on their devices, knowing that this news would travel around the globe within minutes. The joy on the faces of the royal couple and their children was infectious, spreading throughout the room and beyond the palace walls. But Alexander was not finished with his announcement. As the applause died down, he raised his hand to indicate that there was more to share. The silence that followed was even more profound than before, as everyone sensed that the biggest surprise was yet to come. Isabella moved closer to her husband, her smile growing even brighter as she prepared to share the rest of their incredible news. "We are especially blessed," Alexander continued, his voice filled with wonder and excitement, "to announce that we will be welcoming not one, but 2 new members to our family. Isabella is carrying twins." The reaction this time was beyond anything that could have been anticipated. The ballroom erupted in cheers and applause that lasted several minutes, with several guests wiping tears of joy from their eyes. The news of twins in the royal family was unprecedented in Eldorian history, making this announcement even more momentous than anyone had imagined possible. Photographers worked frantically to capture every moment of the celebration, knowing that these images would become historic documents. Prince James stepped forward and took the microphone with the poise of someone much older than his 8 years. His voice, clear and confident, carried across the now quiet room as he spoke words that had clearly been rehearsed but delivered with genuine emotion. "Sophie, Michael, and I are so excited to become big brothers to 2 new babies. We promise to help take care of them and teach them everything we know about being part of our family." Princess Sophie, not to be outdone by her older brother, added her own enthusiastic contribution. "We have been practicing being quiet during nap time, and I have been learning how to fold tiny baby clothes with our nanny. I cannot wait to show them all my favorite places in the palace gardens." Her innocent enthusiasm brought smiles to every face in the room and provided a perfect example of how naturally the children had embraced the news of their expanding family. Young Prince Michael, encouraged by his siblings, stepped forward and simply announced, "I love babies," before giving his mother the biggest hug his little arms could manage. The spontaneous affection and genuine excitement of the children provided a heartwarming counterpoint to the formal nature of the announcement, reminding everyone present that beneath the titles and protocol, this was simply a loving family celebrating wonderful news. Isabella took the opportunity to address some of the practical questions that she knew would arise. She assured everyone that she was in excellent health and under the careful supervision of Dr. Sullivan and a team of specialists who would ensure the best possible outcome for both babies and mother. She explained that her public schedule would be modified as needed, but that she remained committed to her charitable work and royal duties as her health permitted. The couple also addressed the question of succession, though they noted that such matters were far in the future and not their primary concern at this moment of celebration. They emphasized that their focus was entirely on their growing family and ensuring that all 5 of their children would be raised with the same values of service, compassion, and dedication that had guided their own lives. Dr. Sullivan, who had been present for the announcement, provided brief medical updates to reassure the public about the health of both mother and babies. She confirmed that all indications were positive and that the pregnancy was progressing normally. Her presence lent credibility to the announcement and helped address any concerns about the health implications of a twin pregnancy for someone in Isabella's position. The announcement concluded with the royal family posing for official photographs that would be distributed to media outlets around the world. The joy and love evident in these images would become iconic, representing not just a moment of personal happiness for the royal family, but a source of celebration for an entire nation. The children's natural poses and genuine smiles provided perfect evidence of how seamlessly this new development had been integrated into their family dynamic. As the formal portion of the event concluded, the royal couple made themselves available for a brief question and answer session with the assembled journalists. Their responses revealed the careful thought and preparation that had gone into every aspect of this announcement, while also conveying their genuine excitement about the journey ahead. The professional handling of the media aspect demonstrated their understanding of the public interest while maintaining appropriate boundaries around their private life. The ripple effects of the announcement were immediate and far-reaching. Within hours, the news had spread across social media platforms, dominated television broadcasts, and prompted statements of congratulations from royal families and world leaders around the globe. The hashtag Royal Twins began trending immediately, accompanied by countless messages of support and excitement from people who felt a personal connection to the royal family's joy. The palace communications team had prepared for the intense media interest that would follow such an announcement, with detailed plans for managing interview requests, photograph releases, and public appearances in the coming months. They understood that the world's fascination with this story would only grow as the pregnancy progressed, requiring careful balance between satisfying public curiosity and protecting the family's privacy during this special time. As the day progressed, and the immediate excitement of the announcement began to settle into a more sustained celebration, Isabella and Alexander took time to privately reflect on the magnitude of what they had just shared with the world. They had crossed a threshold that would forever change not only their own lives, but also the history of their kingdom, and they faced the future with a mixture of excitement, responsibility, and deep gratitude for the support of their people. The announcement of the royal twins had created a wave of celebration that swept far beyond the borders of Eldoria, touching hearts and capturing imaginations across the globe. Within hours of the palace revelation, messages of congratulations began pouring in from every corner of the world, creating an outpouring of joy and support that surprised even the most seasoned royal watchers with its intensity and universality. Queen Margaret of neighboring Astoria was among the first to publicly express her delight, releasing a statement that praised Isabella and Alexander for their dedication to family values and their inspiring example of modern royal life. Her message, delivered through diplomatic channels and shared with international media, set the tone for what would become an unprecedented display of international goodwill and celebration. The Queen's personal friendship with Isabella, dating back to their shared charitable work on children's education initiatives, added warmth and authenticity to her public congratulations. President Catherine Morrison of the Republic of Valeria called the palace personally to convey her nation's excitement about the royal announcement. Her conversation with Crown Prince Alexander, lasting over 20 minutes, covered not only personal congratulations, but also discussions about the continued partnership between their countries on various humanitarian projects that Isabella had championed. The call demonstrated how personal relationships between world leaders often transcend political boundaries, especially during moments of shared human joy. The social media response proved to be extraordinary in both its scale and its genuine warmth. The official royal family accounts saw unprecedented engagement, with millions of people sharing congratulatory messages, heart emojis, and personal stories about their own experiences with twins or growing families. The hashtag Eldorian twins began trending globally within 3 hours of the announcement, accompanied by creative content from supporters who designed virtual baby gifts, shared twin-related jokes, and posted photographs of their own children celebrating the news. Television networks around the world interrupted their regular programming to cover the breaking news, with royal correspondents providing immediate analysis and context about the significance of twins in the Eldorian royal lineage. Sarah Wellington, the veteran royal correspondent for International News Network, noted during her live broadcast that twins had not been born into the Eldorian royal family for over 150 years, making this announcement historically significant beyond its obvious personal importance to the royal couple. The reaction in Eldoria itself was nothing short of euphoric. Crowds began gathering outside Rosewood Palace within hours of the announcement, many bringing flowers, balloons, and homemade signs expressing their excitement and support. The traditional changing of the guard ceremony that afternoon drew the largest crowd in recent memory, with tourists and locals alike hoping to catch a glimpse of the palace where such momentous news had been shared. Local businesses throughout the capital city of Rosehaven quickly capitalized on the celebratory mood, with bakeries creating special twin-themed pastries, florists designing royal baby arrangements, and souvenir shops rushing to produce commemorative items. The economic impact was immediate and positive, with tourism officials noting a surge in bookings for palace tours and city visits as people from around the region made plans to be part of the ongoing celebration. The 3 royal children became unexpected celebrities in their own right following their charming performance during the announcement. Video clips of Princess Sophie's enthusiastic declaration about folding baby clothes and Prince Michael's simple but heartfelt "I love babies" were shared millions of times across various platforms, endearing the young royals to audiences worldwide. Prince James's mature and thoughtful comments about becoming a big brother to twins earned particular praise for demonstrating wisdom beyond his years. Educational institutions throughout Eldoria incorporated the royal announcement into their lesson plans, using the occasion to teach children about family structures, royal history, and the significance of twins in various cultures. Schools reported increased interest in history classes as students sought to learn more about previous royal births and the traditions surrounding such announcements. Several schools organized special assemblies where children could share their own family stories and discuss what it means to be a big brother or sister. Religious leaders across multiple faiths offered prayers and blessings for the health of Isabella and the unborn twins, with several organizing special services to celebrate the royal announcement. The Archbishop of Eldoria delivered a particularly moving sermon about the blessing of new life and the responsibility that comes with raising children in the public eye. His words resonated throughout the kingdom, reminding citizens of the sacred nature of family and the importance of supporting one another during times of joy and transition. The international media coverage revealed fascinating cultural differences in how various countries celebrate royal births and family expansions. Correspondents from Japan shared traditional customs around twin births, while reporters from Scandinavian countries discussed the practical approaches their royal families had taken to managing large families in modern times. These cross-cultural perspectives enriched the global conversation and highlighted the universal nature of family joy that transcends national boundaries. Medical experts weighed in on the announcement with reassuring information about twin pregnancies and the excellent care that Isabella would receive. Dr. Patricia Reynolds, a leading specialist in high-risk pregnancies at the Royal Medical College, appeared on several international news programs to explain the precautions and protocols typically followed during twin pregnancies, helping to educate the public while addressing any concerns about potential complications. Her expertise provided valuable context for understanding the medical aspects of Isabella's pregnancy journey. Fashion observers immediately began speculating about how Isabella's maternity style would evolve during a twin pregnancy, with several designers already sketching potential outfits that would accommodate her changing silhouette while maintaining the elegance and appropriateness required for royal appearances. The fashion industry's interest reflected the broader cultural fascination with every aspect of the royal family's life, from the most formal state occasions to the most intimate family moments. Charitable organizations that had benefited from Isabella's patronage reported significant increases in donations and volunteer inquiries following the announcement. The Royal Foundation for Children's Welfare, which Isabella had championed since her marriage to Alexander, saw a 300% increase in online donations within 24 hours of the twin announcement. This surge in charitable giving demonstrated how the public's affection for the royal family translated into support for the causes they championed. International royal watchers began drawing comparisons to other famous royal twin births throughout history, noting that such occurrences were relatively rare, but often marked significant periods in their respective monarchies. Royal biographer Dr. Elizabeth Hartwell pointed out that twins in royal families often developed particularly close bonds that influenced their approach to public service and family responsibilities throughout their lives. The palace's social media strategy proved masterful in managing the overwhelming response to the announcement. Regular updates featuring behind-the-scenes glimpses of the family's daily life, carefully curated photographs of the children's reactions, and brief video messages from Alexander and Isabella helped satisfy public curiosity while maintaining appropriate boundaries. The authentic and personal nature of these communications strengthened the connection between the royal family and their supporters around the world. Evening news broadcasts across the globe featured human interest stories about twins and large families, creating a broader cultural conversation about family dynamics, sibling relationships, and the joys and challenges of raising multiple children simultaneously. These stories helped contextualize the royal announcement within the broader human experience, making it relatable to families everywhere who had faced similar joys and challenges. As the first day after the announcement drew to a close, it became clear that this news had touched something profound in people around the world. The combination of genuine affection for Isabella and Alexander, excitement about the rarity of royal twins, and the simple universal joy of welcoming new life had created a moment of shared celebration that transcended political, cultural, and geographic boundaries. The royal family had not only expanded their own circle of love, but had somehow managed to expand the circle of joy that connected millions of people around the world in a moment of pure happiness and hope for the future. The weeks following the twin announcement transformed Rosewood Palace into a hub of careful preparation and anticipation that touched every aspect of royal life. Isabella's pregnancy progressed beautifully under the watchful care of Dr. Sullivan and her team of specialists, while the entire household adapted to accommodate the unique needs and excitement surrounding the upcoming arrival of two royal babies. Every detail required consideration, from the practical aspects of caring for twins to the ceremonial traditions that would mark their births and early lives. The nursery preparations became a project that captured public imagination and demonstrated the thoughtful approach Isabella and Alexander brought to every aspect of parenting. The couple chose to convert two adjacent rooms in the family wing of the palace, creating a harmonious space that could accommodate both babies while allowing for the individual attention each would need. Master craftsmen from across Eldoria contributed their finest work, creating custom furniture that would serve multiple generations while reflecting the timeless elegance expected in a royal nursery. Isabella personally selected every element of the nursery design, working with interior designer Lady Margaret Ashworth to create a space that balanced royal tradition with practical functionality. The color scheme of soft cream and pale yellow was chosen to remain gender-neutral until the baby's arrival, though subtle touches of blue and pink were incorporated through artwork and accessories that could be adjusted once the twins were born. Hand-painted murals depicting scenes from Eldorian folklore adorned the walls, ensuring that the babies would grow up surrounded by images representing their cultural heritage. The security arrangements for the expanded royal family required extensive planning and coordination between multiple agencies. Chief of Royal Security Colonel James Morrison worked closely with the palace household staff to implement enhanced protocols that would protect the privacy and safety of 5 royal children without disrupting the family's desire to maintain as normal a home environment as possible. The arrangements included additional training for staff members, updated emergency procedures, and subtle modifications to public areas of the palace that would accommodate a larger family. Isabella's prenatal care became a carefully orchestrated ballet of medical excellence and royal protocol. Dr. Sullivan established a routine that included regular checkups at the palace to minimize travel during the pregnancy, while also ensuring access to the most advanced medical technology available. A specialized team of nurses and midwives was assembled, each sworn to confidentiality and trained in the unique aspects of providing care within the royal household. The medical team's preparations included detailed contingency plans for every possible scenario, ensuring that Isabella and the twins would receive optimal care regardless of any complications that might arise. The 3 royal children embraced their roles as big brothers and sister with enthusiasm that delighted their parents and charmed the public during their carefully scheduled appearances. Prince James took his responsibilities particularly seriously, often found reading books about baby care and asking thoughtful questions about how he could help once the twins arrived. His maturity and genuine concern for his future siblings demonstrated the strong family values that Isabella and Alexander had worked to instill in all their children. Princess Sophie channeled her excitement into practical preparations, working with the palace staff to organize baby supplies and learning about infant care from the experienced nannies who would assist with the twins' care. Her natural leadership abilities emerged as she took charge of various preparation projects, from sorting tiny clothes by size to helping plan the baby's first public appearance. Her enthusiasm was infectious, bringing smiles to staff members who witnessed her careful attention to detail and genuine excitement about welcoming her new siblings. Young Prince Michael's understanding of the situation was more limited but no less heartwarming. His simple declarations of love for his future siblings and his insistence on showing everyone his favorite toys that he planned to share with the babies provided moments of pure joy for his parents. His innocent questions about when the babies would be big enough to play with him led to wonderful family conversations about growth, development, and the special bond between siblings. The royal household staff underwent specialized training to accommodate the needs of a family with twins. Mrs. Harrington coordinated efforts to ensure that every department was prepared for the changes that would come with 2 new babies in the palace. The kitchen staff developed nutritional plans to support Isabella's health during the pregnancy and prepared for the eventual feeding schedules that would be required once the babies arrived. The housekeeping team organized supplies and established protocols for maintaining the cleanliness and safety standards necessary in areas where infants would spend time. Alexander's role as expectant father evolved to include increased responsibility for representing the royal family at public events that Isabella was unable to attend due to her pregnancy. His natural charisma and genuine enthusiasm for their growing family made these appearances particularly engaging for audiences who appreciated his obvious excitement about becoming a father to twins. His speeches during this period often included references to the joy of family life and the importance of supporting all families in their communities. The palace communications team developed comprehensive plans for managing public interest in the pregnancy and eventual births. Director of Communications Lady Sarah Pemberton worked with international media representatives to establish guidelines that would satisfy legitimate public curiosity while protecting the family's privacy during this important time. The approach included scheduled updates on Isabella's health, carefully planned photo opportunities, and clear boundaries around access to the family during the pregnancy and immediate postpartum period. International royal protocol experts were consulted to ensure that all traditions and ceremonies associated with royal births were properly planned and executed. The ancient ceremony of announcing royal births through the traditional proclamation system was updated to accommodate twins, requiring consultation with historical archives and protocol specialists from other royal houses that had experienced similar situations. These preparations ensured that when the time came, every aspect of the births would be handled with the dignity and ceremony appropriate to such momentous occasions. The charitable work that had always been central to Isabella and Alexander's public roles continued throughout the pregnancy, though with modifications to accommodate her changing needs and energy levels. The Royal Foundation for Children's Welfare expanded its programs to include support for families with multiple births, inspired directly by Isabella's experiences and interests. This expansion demonstrated how the royal family's personal experiences continued to inform and enhance their service to others. Educational initiatives emerged from the twin pregnancy, with the Royal Society for Education developing programs that highlighted the science and wonder of multiple births. These programs, endorsed by Isabella and Alexander, were implemented in schools throughout Eldoria and eventually shared with educational institutions in other countries. The initiative demonstrated how even the most personal royal experiences could contribute to broader public education and understanding. The economic impact of the twin pregnancy extended far beyond the initial announcement celebration. Tourism to Eldoria continued to increase as people from around the world planned visits to coincide with the expected births. Local artisans and craftspeople reported increased demand for twin-themed products and royal memorabilia, creating economic opportunities throughout the kingdom. The positive economic effects reinforced the connection between the royal family's personal happiness and the broader prosperity of their people. As Isabella entered the final months of her pregnancy, the anticipation throughout the kingdom and beyond reached new heights. Every public appearance was carefully planned and enthusiastically received, with crowds gathering wherever she was expected to appear. Her grace and radiance during these appearances inspired countless people who admired her strength and positive attitude throughout the pregnancy journey. The medical team's preparations intensified as the due date approached, with detailed birth plans developed for multiple scenarios. The Royal Medical Suite was equipped with the latest technology and staffed by specialists who had trained extensively for this moment. Dr. Sullivan's regular updates confirmed that both babies were developing normally and that Isabella remained in excellent health, providing reassurance to everyone who cared about the royal family's well-being. As winter turned towards spring in Eldoria, the sense of anticipation became almost palpable throughout the kingdom. The careful preparations, the loving support of family and staff, and the genuine excitement of people around the world had created an atmosphere of joy and expectation that seemed to permeate every aspect of life in the royal household. The stage was set for what would become one of the most celebrated royal births in modern history, marking not just the arrival of two new princes or princesses, but the culmination of months of love, preparation, and shared anticipation that had brought together people from every corner of the globe in celebration of new life and family joy. The dawn of April 15th arrived with unusual warmth and golden sunlight streaming through the tall windows of Rosewood Palace, as if nature itself was celebrating what would become one of the most joyous days in Eldorian royal history. Isabella had awakened feeling different, with the subtle signs that Dr. Sullivan had prepared her to recognize indicating that their long-awaited twins were finally ready to make their entrance into the world. The careful preparations of the past months were about to be put into action as the royal family embarked on the final phase of their extraordinary journey. Alexander was immediately by Isabella's side as she experienced the first contractions, his calm presence and gentle encouragement providing the support she needed during these early stages of labor. The couple had prepared extensively for this moment, practicing breathing techniques and comfort measures that would help Isabella through the challenging hours ahead. Their deep bond and mutual trust created an atmosphere of peace and confidence even as the intensity of the experience began to build. Dr. Sullivan arrived at the palace within minutes of being summoned, her experienced team following close behind with all the equipment and expertise necessary to ensure the safest possible delivery for both babies and mother. The Royal Medical Suite had been transformed into a state-of-the-art birthing center that rivaled the best hospitals in the world, while still maintaining the comfort and dignity appropriate for such a momentous royal occasion. Every contingency had been planned for, every possible need anticipated. The royal children had been prepared for this day through careful conversations with their parents and gentle explanations from their governess about what would happen when their siblings were born. Prince James, Princess Sophie, and Prince Michael spent the morning in the family library with their beloved nanny, Mrs. Margaret Thompson, engaging in quiet activities while remaining close enough to the action to feel included in this historic day. Their excitement was palpable, though they understood the importance of remaining calm and patient while their parents brought their new siblings safely into the world. As Isabella's labor progressed, the palace became a carefully orchestrated center of activity. Mrs. Harrington coordinated the household staff with her usual efficiency, ensuring that every need was met while maintaining the peaceful atmosphere essential for the birth process. The kitchen staff prepared light meals and beverages for the medical team and family members, while security personnel maintained their vigilant watch over the palace grounds where crowds were beginning to gather in anticipation of good news. The first twin, a beautiful baby girl with her mother's delicate features and a head of soft golden hair, arrived at 2:47 in the afternoon after a labor that, while challenging, proceeded exactly as Dr. Sullivan had hoped. Princess Isabella held her daughter for the first time with tears of joy streaming down her face, marveling at the perfect tiny fingers and the peaceful expression on the baby's face. Alexander stood beside them, his own emotions overwhelming him as he witnessed the miracle of his daughter's birth. 23 minutes later, their son made his arrival with considerably more drama, announcing his presence with lusty cries that filled the medical suite with sound and brought smiles to every face in the room. The little prince bore a striking resemblance to his father, with dark hair and strong features that suggested he would grow into a commanding presence like the generations of royal men who had come before him. Dr. Sullivan pronounced both babies perfect and healthy, with excellent vital signs and no signs of the complications that can sometimes accompany twin births. The official announcement of the births was made from the same balcony where royal proclamations had been delivered for centuries. Alexander, still glowing with the euphoria of new fatherhood, appeared before the gathered crowds to share the momentous news. His voice carried clearly across the palace courtyard as he announced the safe arrival of Princess Elena Margaret and Prince Nicholas Alexander, named to honor both their family heritage and their hope for the future. The cheers that erupted from the crowd could be heard throughout the capital city, marking the beginning of a celebration that would last for days. The three older royal children met their new siblings within hours of the birth, their faces showing wonder and immediate love as they beheld the tiny babies who would complete their family. Prince James approached with the careful reverence of someone who understood the significance of the moment, gently touching his sister's tiny hand and whispering promises to protect and guide her throughout her life. Princess Sophie was enchanted by both babies, declaring them the most beautiful creatures she had ever seen, and immediately beginning to plan all the things she would teach them as they grew. Young Prince Michael's reaction provided one of the most touching moments of the entire day, as he carefully examined both babies before announcing with complete authority that they were the best babies in the whole world. His innocent enthusiasm and obvious love for his new siblings created a scene so heartwarming that even the usually composed medical staff found themselves wiping away tears of joy. The family portrait taken that evening, with all 5 children together for the first time, would become one of the most treasured images in royal history. Isabella's recovery proceeded smoothly under Dr. Sullivan's expert care, with the new mother showing remarkable strength and resilience throughout the process. Her joy at finally holding both babies was evident to everyone who saw her, as she moved seamlessly into her role as mother of twins with the same grace and natural instinct that had characterized her approach to every other aspect of royal life. The bond between mother and babies was immediate and profound, creating a foundation of love that would support their entire relationship. The international response to the birth announcement exceeded even the enthusiastic reaction to the original twin pregnancy revelation. Messages of congratulation poured in from world leaders, fellow royal families, and millions of ordinary people who felt personally invested in this royal love story. The official birth photographs, released 24 hours after the delivery, showed Isabella and Alexander with their 5 children in a setting that perfectly captured both the grandeur of their royal status and the intimate warmth of their family bond. The naming ceremony for Princess Elena and Prince Nicholas took place 1 week after their birth, following traditions that dated back hundreds of years while incorporating modern elements that reflected the contemporary approach of their parents. The Archbishop of Eldoria presided over the ceremony, which was attended by close family members and godparents chosen to represent the values and commitments that would guide the twins throughout their lives. The ceremony was broadcast internationally, allowing millions of people to witness this sacred moment in the young royals' lives. The economic impact of the royal births proved to be even more significant than anticipated, with tourism reaching record levels as people from around the world traveled to Eldoria to be part of the ongoing celebration. Local businesses reported unprecedented sales of commemorative items, while hotels and restaurants throughout the kingdom experienced their busiest period in decades. The positive economic effects rippled throughout the entire region, demonstrating how royal joy could translate into prosperity for entire communities. As the immediate excitement of the birth settled into a more sustainable rhythm of daily life with twins, Isabella and Alexander marveled at how naturally their expanded family had come together. The careful preparations and months of anticipation had created a foundation that allowed them to embrace the challenges and joys of raising twins alongside their three older children. The older siblings took their roles as helpers and protectors seriously, creating a family dynamic filled with love, laughter, and mutual support. The charitable work that had always been central to the royal couple's mission took on new dimensions inspired by their experiences with twins. The Royal Foundation for Children's Welfare launched initiatives specifically designed to support families with multiple births, while Isabella began planning future projects that would address the unique needs and challenges faced by twins and their families. Their personal experience was already being transformed into public service that would benefit countless other families. The naming of Princess Elena and Prince Nicholas had been chosen with careful consideration of their meanings and historical significance. Elena, meaning bright light, represented the hope and joy that she had brought to their family and kingdom, while Nicholas, meaning victory of the people, reflected the celebration and unity that his birth had inspired throughout Eldoria and beyond. These names would carry forward the legacy of service and dedication that had defined their parents' approach to royal life. As spring progressed and the twins grew stronger each day, the royal family settled into routines that accommodated the needs of 5 children while maintaining their public responsibilities. The palace had been transformed by the presence of the babies, with their soft cries and contented sounds adding new music to the ancient halls. Staff members who had served the royal family for years remarked that they had never seen the palace so filled with happiness and life. The future stretched ahead bright with possibility for Princess Elena and Prince Nicholas, born into a world that had celebrated their arrival with unprecedented joy and enthusiasm. They would grow up surrounded by love, guided by parents who had shown them that royal duty and family devotion could coexist beautifully, and supported by siblings who had already demonstrated their commitment to protecting and nurturing these precious new additions to their family. The story that had begun months earlier with careful preparation and hopeful anticipation had reached its perfect conclusion with the safe arrival of 2 healthy, beautiful babies who had already captured the hearts of millions around the world. Isabella and Alexander's journey from announcing their pregnancy to holding their completed family represented everything that people admired about modern royal life: authenticity, dedication to family, graceful handling of public interest, and the ability to share personal joy in ways that brought entire communities together in celebration of love and new life.